Hey everyone, welcome to the final wrap-up of our full-time RV living practice run. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, the eye that just popped up here will bring you to all of those videos. For those of you who do know what we're talking about, you'll remember that Cheryl and I decided to take off for 4 to 6 weeks to go practice full-timing in Maggie. We ended up doing 40 days, but 9 of them will not count, so let's flip in the calendar and show you why. Alright, and this is our calendar. We left here in Maggie with a full tank of gas and enough food for a couple of days on the 12th of September. The next morning we got up, we topped off her gas. We went to Tennessee Lake Campground in Jefferson, Ohio. Then the next day we went to Jayco. The reason that we are not counting every day that has an X, the 9 days, is because Maggie's mileage stopped at Jayco. It did not cost us anything to stay at Jayco. 3 of the days we had to stay in a motel though, so we went up to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan to get the last 2 samples of the Great Lakes, Lake Superior and Lake Huron, that I wanted to build a display case. So none of this would all throw off an RV budget. It just happened to work out that 9 from 40 is 31. So everything else on here is the campgrounds that we stayed at, and the day that we came home was October 21st. So what you're looking at there is Socktober, according to Cheryl. So someone asked us, how did we plan 4 to 6 weeks of campgrounds before leaving? We didn't.
We don't. We never have.
Nope. Matter of fact, one of the campgrounds we stayed at, we booked as we were leaving another campground and headed towards them. So, yeah, we live on the edge. Now, we understand it's fall. It's a lot easier to get sites. And once we're on the road, that's probably going to have to change. But this trip was all about just going out there with no plan. Other than going to Jayco, because we had to have the slide floor replaced. And Cheryl had Santa Claus on her bucket list ever since she saw Santa Claus on Google Maps, and it sort of looked like a reindeer.
It does look like a reindeer.
Okay. Guys, look it up.
It really does.
But anyway, other than that, we kind of just winged it. When we got to Jayco, we made a loop around Michigan. We came back down to Jayco. They let us stay till the end of the weekend, you know, those 9 days. While we were there, we went into Shipshewana and ordered a RV reclining sofa. It was going to take a week, so we didn't want to go down to Santa Claus because it's like almost in Kentucky. I mean, it's really southern Indiana. Go all the way down there, come all the way back, and then say, well, now where? And we didn't want to go east because we were going nowhere near home. So what we did is we took off. We went to go hang out in Wisconsin. We came back. The sofa didn't work out. We were stayed in Elkhart before we figured that out. We left there. We went down to Leavenworth, Indiana, right by Santa Claus. We stayed down there, and then the rest of the trip kind of just fell in our laps because we really still didn't know where we were going from southern Indiana. But our friends Rich and Yvette called and said that they had plans for the 12th of October, right, at Arrowhead.
Yeah, that weekend.
That weekend. And asked if we thought we might be anywhere near the area so that we could go and camp with them. And we didn't have any plans, so we were like, okay, we'll let you know. And we talked about it because we were also watching the agenda for Bob and
Itinerary?
Itinerary for Bob and Pearl from Next Exit because they wanted to get together and do an interview. So we were like, all right, well, we'd like to see Rich and Yvette. Let's see where Bob and Pearl are going to be at that particular time. Fate. They were an hour and a half away.
Yeah, not far at all.
So that worked out well. We took off from southern Indiana. We went to Ohio. Then we headed over to New York at Arrowhead. Then we went down to Rondout. I almost have it down pat. To meet up with Bob and Pearl. And then the plan was either go home or take another thing off our bucket list, which was the Connecticut High Point and the Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York Tri-Point.
Yep.
So we decided, all right, let's just do that. And then Cheryl started looking and saw that there was a campground that was cheaper than Rondout.
And it was a little closer.
It was closer. So we were like, all right. So we booked that out for until they closed. So that was 5 days.
Yeah.
And then we came home. I mean, that was it. There was no plan. We had no idea when we left New Hampshire where we were going after Jayco. We just knew that Santa Claus would be part of it.
Yes. And we knew that we needed to be home by November 1st.
Yes. What did we learn while we were out on the road all that time?
We moved awfully fast.
Yes. We knew that going into it, though. We wanted to set up and break down camp a lot during this period just to see what it feels like, knowing that there'd be days that it might be raining, days that it might be really, really hot. days we might be running late. So we wanted to get all of that feeling that we normally didn't get from our Class C and the camping we've done prior to this. So that's one thing that we learned. But 9 campgrounds, 1 Walmart, 30 days. That's a lot of moving.
And a lot of miles.
And a lot of miles. 3,183. That's a lot of miles to do in 30 days. We follow one other couple online that they went out for 4 months. They did 4,700 miles. We did 3,183 in 1 month. So we won't do that again. There's absolutely no need for it at all.
Not at all.
Now, as far as campgrounds go, if you stay a week, it's cheaper than a day generally. If you stay a month, it's cheaper than a week generally. So those are ways that you can save at campgrounds.
Including all of those passes that we are
Yes,
going to be looking into.
We'll be looking into passes to make it even cheaper. So the next thing that we learned from a campground neighbor who was next to us.
Oh, yes.
Our Good Sam's Club card at Flying J and Pilot gets us 5 cents off a gallon of gas. Now, from what we heard talking to Bob and Pearl, I think they get 8 cents off because they're diesel. But for gas, 5 cents. And it works with the Jeep too. So yeah, that's a nice little tidbit. That being said, I know that there is a Pilot, I believe, I think it's in Ohio or Pennsylvania going through, that is constantly packed. And we stopped there in the Jeep because I was just curious how we would have gotten Maggie into this place, pulling the Jeep. It was one of the times that we were going back and forth to Jayco in just the Jeep. And we pulled in there, and there's no way we would have got Maggie in there. It was mobbed.
It was way too busy.
Yeah, I mean, their price was absolutely fantastic, which I'm sure why everybody was there. So we were like, well, maybe there's gas over where the trucks go, other than just diesel. We went over and we talked to a couple of the truckers, looked at the pumps. No.
Nope, they just diesel.
So had we gotten off the highway and tried to get in there, I don't know how long it would have taken us to get home.
Oh, wow.
Because it's not like you can just pull a Yui. So the other thing that we learned is sometimes it's easier and quicker to pay a little bit more and just go to the gas station at the rest area on the turnpikes.
Yes.
So, other than that, if you're on the fence about a washer and dryer, tell them, hun.
Oh, I love the washer. Love it, love it. Actually, I love it more than doing laundry in the house.
I know, I'm surprised she hasn't brought the laundry out here yet and decided doing it in here.
Well, it's so easy to keep up on the laundry versus waiting until you have a full load. It's I just find it much easier.
I know one of the big complaints is people say, oh, well, they're so small. That's the beauty of it. You don't need a large load to put in there, and you can do, like, what are we doing, every other day, every other couple of days?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and put it in before we went wherever we were going, come back, guess what, it's dry, pull it out, fold it, put it away. Wrinkles, we did not have that many wrinkles.
No, there wasn't that many.
Oh. So.
It was pretty good.
Yep.
And it depended upon the material, too.
Definitely. Wow, issues and mistakes. Well, let's start with the first mistake that Cheryl made.
Oh, sure, mine. So it was chilly one morning,
yes,
and I was hooking up the space heaters, and I put them in the wrong outlets. I put them in the inverter outlets instead of the GFCI outlets.
Yeah, normally it's 1 and 1.
Yeah, it popped.
Yeah, there were 2 heaters. It's 15 amp circuit, I believe it is. It just couldn't handle it.
We could not figure out how to reset this thing.
That's where the problem came in, because normally they pop. You just go right over to the circuit breakers and pop it off and pop it back on. Didn't pop.
Nope.
So I'm just like, uh-oh. So then I went and I checked the monitor panel for the inverter, and it was on and working, keeping track of the battery power, and just like, uh-oh. So I pull out the manual, get through that, and I'm just, uh-oh.
I started Googling stuff.
Yeah, I'm saying to myself, there's got to be a reset button somewhere on this inverter. Not mentioned at all in the manual. So we did, troubleshooting. We lifted the bed, because that's where our inverter is, down at the foot underneath, behind a piece of paneling with 6 screws in it. So we pulled all that out into that rat trap of wires that Jayco put down there. And there's the inverter with something sticking out of it. I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? I pushed it in.
Right on the top.
Everything came right back on.
I want to cut a little hole in the paneling so we can get access to that button without taking everything apart.
I just can't believe the manual didn't mention that.
I know.
So troubleshooting is your friend. Now, the second thing that came about that was a mishap, let's say. Well, it wasn't mine. No, well, yeah, okay. One of the campgrounds that we went to, the campground owner was over enthusiastic about helping us. It's a nice guy, great campground. We will go there again. He let us out to our campsite in his go-kart there at the go-kart. And then he stayed to help. Now Cheryl and I have been setting up since 2006. We know what each other does. We know what to expect. So, well, this guy's just going to take over Cheryl's position. So I am behind Maggie trying to disconnect the Jeep, and he's kind of looking over my shoulder, and it's making me a little nervous and going faster. So I get the Jeep all disconnected.
It made him rush.
Yeah, he backed me in, and we went and said thank you and all this other stuff. And as soon as he pulled away, we pulled Maggie back out and put her back in the way that we like it. The sights were a little bit narrow and
a little bit high.
Yeah, it's too far off to one edge. We weren't comfortable about putting levelers down. So the next day we were taking off to go to the high point and the tri point that we told you about that were on a bucket list. We're going down the road about 50 miles an hour and ping! I'm like, what the heck was that? And I'm thinking maybe I picked something up on the road, went underneath the Jeep, and hit it. So we go, I don't know, another couple tenths of a mile. Charles said, where's the pins for the tow bar anyway? Pull right over, because I knew where they were. They're on the front bumper.
Immediately he knew where they were.
Every single time we disconnect, when I take them off, I put them in the tow bar, I get the tow bar all set up, put it, no, but because I was rushing, I left them on the bumper thinking I'd get them later. Yeah, I got them later, all right. So we ended up going back. We pulled over, and my little bloodhound here, she found the other pin. Because when I went around the front, all that was there was one pin and two of the clasps. So what are you gonna do? So
we now have a spare.
Yes, we bought a spare just in case that happens. As far as issues, the only issue that we really had was we got to a campground, got all set up, and when Cheryl hit the hot water, there was no hot water.
It wouldn't kick on. It wouldn't flame. It was on, had power, but it wouldn't flame.
Yeah, so we've had trouble with the bathroom faucet before. Not a problem since Jaco fixed it, but that's the first thing I'm thinking. I said, did you try any of the other faucets? And she said yes, and none of them will turn on the on-demand hot water heater. Now y'all know I don't like that thing. And the funny thing is, I had just told Cheryl that I'm starting to get used to it, and it's not as bad as I thought. And then it goes and stops working on us.
He was going to give it a good review.
Yeah. So I checked to make sure it was on, like she said. Checked to make sure the propane was on. Checked all the fuses and everything. Nothing. It happened to be at Arrowhead, so I went over to Rich because he also has a 35S, and I asked him if he had run into any situations with his, and he said no. He came walking back over with me, and by the time we got over here, Cheryl had told me she discovered if she turned two faucets on, it would turn on the hot water heater. Which
is weird.
Very weird. Very, very
never
weird.
Never happened before. Usually we can get hot water from one faucet and not another, but to put two on to
make it work,
which is going to lower the pressure, it's weird.
So I tried to use the adjustable water pressure regulator, and it wasn't doing anything. So I'm like, So I shut it down. I took everything off the spigot. I took the pressure regulator off, and I just hooked the hose directly in. I did not recommend you do this, but this was just part of our troubleshooting.
We weren't going to leave it there.
Yeah, we weren't going to leave it. I turned it on, told Cheryl, to hit the hot water. And the hot water on demand came right on. So I was like, all right, I shut it back down, disconnected again. I put the adjustable water pressure regulator back on, hooked it back up, turned it on. Not a problem. So I don't know if there was some kind of an air bubble or whatever the problem was, but it went away. So I was glad.
The mystery problems.
Yeah. And again, it's learn troubleshooting if you're going to own one of these things, because your only other alternative, if you can't find someone to help you for free, is calling, depending if you can even move, having service come to you, and that's going to be expensive.
Especially for these little things.
Yep.
They're more embarrassing moments than anything else.
Yeah. So we were lucky that those were the only three things that were mistakes or issues. All right, now the question that a lot of people have been asking. How much did it cost? Oh, sorry, we're not telling you that. No, I'm just kidding with you. Of course we're going to tell you. What we did before we went, we sat down, we looked at our finances, and we figured out how much we wanted to spend each month to live this lifestyle. Then what we did was we subtracted all of our reoccurring bills, such as health insurance, RV and Jeep insurance, registration costs, and anything that has to do with our house, because we won't even have that. And we came up with a figure of between $32,000 to $3,200 to $3,500. So now keep in mind, we already will have accounts set aside for an emergency fund for any big major catastrophes that happen, and we will have what Bob and Pearl from Next Exit call an exit strategy.
Yes.
Because when we're all done doing this, we intend to go back to a stick and brick home and continue living our lives and live happily ever after.
In some state.
And we also have an extended warranty on Maggie for the next 5 years, so any major things should be covered by insurance. Hopefully there won't be any. So
either way, we're covered.
So without further ado, let's get to our budget spreadsheet. Welcome to our budget. This is our spreadsheet for the whole month that we were actually on the road. The first column is the date that transactions happened. The second column is the description of what the transaction was. The third column is what it cost for that transaction. And the fourth column, we just put them all into categories to just make it easier. Starting with RV gas. When we left New Hampshire, Maggie had a full tank of gas already. We did not count that. When we returned to New Hampshire, we went to the gas station and gave her a full tank again. That we did count. We got gas 6 times, but keep in mind, we traveled 3,183 miles in a month. That will not happen again, trust me. So our gas total came to $924.01. That's a lot of money for gas. But because we're not going to be moving as much as we did these 30 days, we're figuring, let's just say a max of leaving a campground on average 2 times. The 188, the 172, 65, round them both up to 200. So let's just say more along the lines of $400 for gas is what we're looking at.
As a high estimate.
Average estimate I'm going with. Next was tolls. We have 3 bills because we are billed like the 16th of September to the 16th of October. The tolls only include while we were in Maggie. So the 9 days at Jayco and when we went up around Michigan in the Jeep, those are not counted. Our toll costs were $277.08. If you live in an area where there's a lot of states, or travel in area I should say, where a lot of states have Easy Pass, I'm telling you, get it because it's easy. There's a lot of the states you just continue driving, you don't even have to slow down. It's well worth it for us. Moving into lodging, our next biggest expense. When we go places, we first see if they accept Passport America. If not, we see if there is, I'm a disabled veteran, see if there's any discounts for that. We use AAA, we use AARP, we use Good Sam's Club. This is all broken down for who took Passport America and who just took the 10% discounts, because that's what the other ones give you. Passport America is generally good Sundays through Thursdays, and you will get 50% off of whatever the campground charges. Just to give you an idea, we saved $201.50 using Passport America. Passport America cost $44 a year. So we saved $157.44 and basically got the membership for free then.
Yep. That's bringing our grand total for lodging to $950.66.
Oh, before we forget, if you're interested in Passport America, if it's something you might use, we put our referral link down in the description box below the video. Now, as far as the $950.66 goes, we are also looking at Thousand Trails memberships, whether it will be a zone pass or an elite pass or whatever, but that will make that price go down significantly, and we will keep you up to date with which one we decide to go with and what benefits we will get from it. Moving along to groceries. We shopped 6 times, and it came out to a grand total of $580.58. Now, when you're shopping at local grocery stores or local chains like Giant Eagle, they have a membership card. And you'll see in there, buy one, get one free, and with card. So don't be afraid to try that, because we bought stuff, we do it all the time. When we get up to the register and it comes across that, say, oh, do you have your card? And we're like, oh no, we're from New Hampshire, we're just visiting your fine town, you got some really cool stuff around here. The majority of the time, they have a card that they will use. They pull it out and say, you know what, I'm going to give it to you anyway, and they scan it, boom, and we saved something here, I don't even remember what it was. And $5 saved is $5 earned. So, at $580.58, that's a lot cheaper than we pay here.
Yeah, we usually spend about $800 a month.
So moving on to the gas. We found out about that 5-cent discount for Good Sam's, and that's what we used the whole time out there, and the Jeep cost us $70.93. Moving on to dining out. We ate out 6 different times for a grand total of $133.99. Moving on to amusements. Now, the first amusement we have is wood. We didn't really know where to put that in the categories because we had a fire and it amused us. So we put it in amusements. We did, what did we do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We did 6 things. It came to a total of $107.19. All these are covered on the videos that we've already done, so we're not going to get into them right here. The last thing that we have on our spreadsheet is maintenance, and we're calling the car wash maintenance because we washed the Jeep once. So maintenance cost us $8. Now, can we have a drum roll and get the final cost for the whole month? $3,052.44. Not bad when we had a minimum set of $3,200 and a max of $3,500. So we came in $147.56 under budget. Now, if we were getting near our max, we would have been able to adjust the dining out and the amusement. Those are 2 things that can be adjusted. I mean, you can always just go for a walk in a park or go climb a mountain or something like that if you were like Cheryl and I and the adventurous type. So that covers the budget. So in closing, if you enjoyed this video, we'd appreciate that thumbs up as always. And if you want to become part of the Get Gone With Us gang, right down there in the corner, you can just click that red box and your life will change dramatically.
Silly man.
Feel free to share this video, and if you have any questions about our whole practice run, something we didn't cover, something you didn't understand, feel free. Comments right below. We will get back to you and answer you as best we can. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So then, without further ado, the spreadsheet and the calendar will be going up on Get Gone With Us as soon as we get that blog written. So you got to give us a little bit of time. We're like 3 videos behind on that. At GetGonewithUS.com. Yep. So other than that, until we do another video, I'm Chuck.
And I'm Cheryl.
We'll Get Gone With Us.
Bye.
See ya.